Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio. And today we're featuring the San Diego Social Venture Partners. And with us is the Executive Director, Sierra Visher Kroha. Did I get that right? I should have practiced that. I should have called you up and said, how do you say it? I got it right. Good.
You got it right.
I'm so glad. And we may see your board chair, Scott Tritt, to help us with our conversation about the work that you're doing in San Diego County to enhance the way that nonprofit organizations are operating. And, of course, a lot of our literacy programs are nonprofit organizations. I've been in the arena for a long time, and there's just, it can be two worlds at time, I guess. Let's start with that. Tell us about San Diego Social Venture Partners and also what you see as your highest priorities and maybe the biggest challenges. This is a lot of stuff in your work, but welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for the opportunity and for the work that you're doing to highlight all that great work to support literacy in San Diego. You're right. Sometimes it does seem like there's sort of two worlds. On the one hand, nonprofits are really picking up some of the most critical needs in our community, and everybody that I talk to, kind of trust the nonprofit sector to make a big difference for the kids in the area. Yet at the same time, they're really under-resourced often. People are making contributions, but at the same time, nonprofits feel a lot of pressure to spend all of their time and their resources running the programs, which is important because you want the money that you're donating to these causes to go straight to the issues that you care about. But what that often means is that these organizations themselves never have the resources to invest in their own business. So they don't have as much time and energy and money to do things like developing a marketing and communications plan, developing their board strategy, working on their financial controls, all the things that a business person, I think, would know is critical for sustainability, and that's where we come in.
And so what are some of the ways, because when you look at it, and I have this list I go through in terms of making change happen, that you have to have a vision, you have to have incentive, you have to have resources, you have to have skills, and you have to have a plan.
Good list.
Right? It's a good list. And where we tend to fall short, and you named it, is the resource area. So with that being the reality for a lot of nonprofit organizations, that they are resource challenged, what are the best things that can be done? Is it just starting inside and going out and making it so you can generate the resources that you need, or is there something else that we're missing?
I mean, that's sort of like the holy grail question, right? How can nonprofits get enough resources? I don't know if I have the answer to that.
Oh, darn.
I know, writ large. I do think that that list you laid out is really critical and actually hard to deliver on. I mean, taking the time to develop a plan when you don't have enough money to think more than a few months out at any given time is pretty tough to do. We do at Social Venture Partners provide resources. We give grant funding to 2 nonprofits a year from different issue areas each year. But those grant funds are coupled with the volunteer support of our member partners. So nonprofits that make it through our process and receive that grant funding also get volunteer teams for the next 2, 3, sometimes 4 years to help them get to the next level. These are people that come from the business community and have those kind of exact skill sets around developing one's business that they otherwise sometimes struggle to find. And then any nonprofit in town, whether or not they're receiving our funding, can ask us for support. And if we are able to put a team of volunteer business leaders together to help them, then we will. We can't make the commitment all the time that whatever need under the sun nonprofits have, we can service, but we certainly will give it a try.
So who are just a little bit more about the people, the business people who are investing in nonprofit organizations. Are they retired? Are they just like, hey, man, we can't sit by and watch this happen. We want to help out. Who are and how many are there?
Yeah, we're a big mix right now. There's about 100 people that are part of our organization, and they come from all walks of life, but like I said, largely from the business community. And I would say that about a third of our members are retired individuals that frankly have failed at retirement and are now spending all of their time giving back to the community.
Nice, yeah.
And then another third are probably kind of later career professionals that have gotten to a certain level of success and looked around and said, well, I think I could do a lot more here. How can I give back to the community? And then the other third is sort of a hodgepodge mix of folks with different perspectives and backgrounds and expertise to give.
Very good. Now, I have to ask this question. Again, what tends to happen with me is like I have a question in mind. I want to wait to ask it, but I got to ask it now.
That's all right.
And what it is the, I would call it, when thunder and lightning happening, it's a coming together of two opposites.
Right.
And so there's friction.
Yeah.
And there's this coming together of these two worlds and both kind of one evaluating the other and the other one trying to measure up. Is that, I have to guess, that's something that's just pretty common. How are we supposed to do what they're doing? And does it work? Sometimes does it not work?
Yeah, so sometimes it works really great, and sometimes you're right, it doesn't. It's not the case that just because you have an expertise in business that is perfectly relevant for every nonprofit. So there certainly is a little bit of translation between what's relevant in the for-profit sector for the nonprofit sector. So, it's not that there's a square peg and a round hole, but sometimes it's a bit like an oval peg and a circle hole or something like that. And a little bit of work needs to be done to help translate the expertise that our partners, that's what we call our members, bring to the nonprofit community. But when it does work, which is more often the case, it really is quite powerful. I mean, there's a sort of this great adage that nonprofits, that's not a business strategy, that's a tax status. And so even nonprofits need to be thinking about themselves as if they are a business. They are a business.
Yeah.
And so, bringing that level of expertise to the table is something that is 100% relevant for nonprofits, even if this ecosystem that they're working in is somewhat different than the for-profit professionals might find themselves.
Got it. So there's certain mentality that I think that we have, certain style of work I think that we surrender to, and that's not good because it affects the quality of services we are providing and our ability to survive. So those are things that we're grateful to all of you for coming in and helping, not just the 2 programs a year, which I want to come back to, but other programs that you're supporting.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we say that there's sort of this attitude of scarcity, which is really a shame because nonprofits don't need to be running in the red every year. In fact, that would be terrible.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
They
right?
should be running in the black every year.
Yeah.
And that attitude is really pervasive, unfortunately, across the nonprofit sector, that you should be running sort of in the red or have nothing left at the end of the year, and that's something we try to get out of.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an attitude
or a reality.
Or reality. We talk about, and I can remember having a conversation in board meetings where one of the board members looking at the anticipated revenue for the next year said, this is soft money. And we're all sitting around looking, it's like, it's all soft money. It's not like we're selling dog food or anything like that we're going to make a profit out of. It's just kind of the way we've operated. Now, do we have to operate that way? And I think that San Diego Social Venture Partners is saying no.
Right.
You adopt that business model and such.
Right.
I do want to, before I forget, something that I probably need to say more often, and you did remind me that a nonprofit doesn't describe anything. And so somebody said this sector needs to call itself for impact.
Right.
Right. So there's profit and there's for impact. And so maybe that'll catch a little bit. I'll keep pushing.
Yeah, it's
that
sort of unusual to define yourself in the negative.
Yeah, exactly. What we are not.
What we are not.
Yeah. Versus, we are actually engaged in solving a problem to enhance quality of life and stuff. Well, we've been joined by Board Chair Scott Tritt. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Good morning, Jose.
So
Thank
glad
you.
you're here. Yeah, we're just wrapping up the first segment, so we're going to spend some time talking to you about being the board chair of San Diego Social Ventures Partners. I did see that in addition to the 2 programs that you fund, we're going to go to break in 2 minutes. I'll just warn you. You've been engaged actually with some of our literacy programs. That we have a network of 30 programs. And how are you able to help out smaller programs at the same time that you have the big focus on the 2 programs?
Yeah, so every year we do choose 2 organizations to fund, and our members, I think, really resonate with the cause that a number of different literacy-based organizations support. So, for instance, currently we are funding Traveling Stories and providing a team of folks to help them move their business to the next level. And they already have just an unbelievable leadership team at the board and executive level. So it's been really a pleasure for us. One of the things we've helped them do is think through whether or not they might expand and strengthen a social enterprise model, which, if successful over the next few years, could really result in a more sustainable funding stream. So it gets right to what you're saying. Let's not be, not for profit. Let's actually find a way to bring earned revenue in as well as donations. And
Traveling Stories is, they're based in San Diego,
That's
but
right.
they do have a national outreach.
That's right.
So the opportunity for social entrepreneurship is there for them.
Yeah,
Very
you're reading
good.
my mind. That's right.
Yeah. And I was just kind of thinking ahead. It's because I had to see them. I said, what are they doing? But then remembering that they can franchise and such, the different things that a lot of our programs aren't even thinking about doing. So just helping them to come to a time of sustainability, comfort. Not that you're ever comfortable. You don't want to be complacent. I mean, this is things do change. Sometimes funds fall off and such, and you have to be prepared for all of those things. So we're going to talk more about your work with the 2 funded programs, and then just a little bit of stuff that's a little bit more philosophical, given the for impact, the nonprofit sector, and how the playing field really is uneven. So I want to come back to a book I'm going to reference. Anyway, you've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. We're talking to San Diego Social Venture Partners, and we'll be back. This is WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
I've heard this is like one of the best pizza spots in town.
Yes, it is.
I'll do a slice of pepperoni, slice of vegetarian.
You got it.
And I will pay for all of that in 3 days.
In 3 days? What's that mean?
Well, wait, you accept credit cards. That money's not going to hit your account for 3 days anyway.
I need my money quicker.
At Chase, we hear you. With Express Funding, card payments are in your Chase account the next business day. Go to chase.com/expressfunding. Chase for business, so you can.
Compensated participation. All businesses are subject to credit approval. Not all clients are eligible for next business day funding, and additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Donate cash, furniture, clothes, and other gently used household items to Father Joe's Villages and get a nice tax break in April. Every donation is tax deductible. Believe you can make a difference. Be Father Joe. Go to neighborhood.org or call 1-800-HOMELESS to donate today.
Life is full of misadventures, from car crashes to home fires to getting choked out on the mat. Yes, I said getting choked out because I'm Carlos Kramer, jiu-jitsu competitor, MMA and media personality, and mild-mannered insurance agent. You can follow my adventures on Kick-Ass Radio, and I can protect you from life's misadventures at Kramer Insurance. Home, auto, life, business, and workers' comp. We're at KramerINS.com, and I want you to join my world.
This is Bill Gruber with BizVid Communications, a Southern California video production leader. We've been honored to sponsor, produce, write, and host many of the fine programs on WS Radio over the years. So we understand how important the internet and your website exposure are. As video producers, we know the tricks and secrets to incorporate video to increase your search engine optimization and business success. Visit bizvidcommunications.com to see what we can do for you. BIZVID communications.com.
Too much to do? Not enough time to get it done? Call on the experts at Another 8 Hours for your business support needs. By partnering with Another 8 Hours, we allow you to focus on the more important matters, like being in front of your clients, doing what you do best, rather than being stuck at a desk poring over paperwork, rummaging through emails, returning phone calls, and struggling to get everything done by yourself. Meanwhile, your family and social life are going down the drain. Go to another8hours.com or call 8 more hours. That's 866-734-6877.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world where children don't play, or dream, or imagine?
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children. Because we can't imagine a world without children. Can Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Hello, I'm Jose Cruz. Welcome back to the show. This is WS Radio and the Literacy for All radio show. Our guests from San Diego Social Venture Partners are Visher Kroha, she's the executive director, and then Scott Tritt, who's the board chair. Let's see what we can talk about here. I wanted to get to a book that I didn't finish reading. I got a lot of those. But I did get to see the gentleman speak. His name is Dan Pallotta, and he wrote a book called Uncharitable. And it was pretty much his angry rant. You can read it, you can hear the anger, and then hearing him speak, the same thing. But he talked about how the playing field isn't even for nonprofit organizations, that as nonprofits, you're not supposed to spend too much money on fundraising. You're not supposed to spend too much money on marketing. And if you're going to do something new, you better get it right the first time. And that's not the way a lot of businesses operate. How do you respond to that? Are you in agreement? Scott, let's start with you. Are you in agreement with that being kind of what's happening out there, or is it just a bunch of excuses?
No, I think that's very accurate, Jose, and it comes from the position of donors treating nonprofits differently than they treat for-profit businesses. They put all kinds of restrictions on their money. They put onerous reporting requirements, all kinds of things that they would not do if they were going into a store and buying a product. And by its very nature, this puts nonprofits at a disadvantage. They have to compete against all these perceived benchmarks that donors place on them. And donors, of course, are trying to do what they think is the right thing, but in the end, it ends up being unnecessarily restrictive on the ability for nonprofits to succeed. The most important things that individual donors can do to strengthen nonprofits is first, make unrestricted gifts, and secondly, make a multi-year pledge. Mm-hmm. And these are things that most donors do not do. I mean, think about how much time a nonprofit could save if they didn't have to call donors every year and say, are you going to be writing us a check this year?
Right.
Think about if they could put that brain power and that time towards their program instead of trying to massage their donors. And there's also responsibility on the nonprofit side to have a business plan and to be able to demonstrate that to donors so that they can show effectiveness. And as we talked about in the last segment, impact. Because there are a lot of folks who think, hey, as soon as I get my 501c3 determination letter, the money's going to start to flow in. And that is just false hope. There are far too many nonprofits in San Diego already, and if folks are starting new ones without a solid plan of how to get from point A to point B, they're doing themselves a disservice. So there is learning to be done on both sides.
Absolutely. And the new numbers, I don't know how new they are now, but it was 12,000 nonprofit organizations in San Diego County. A few years ago, it was 9,000. Where did the 3,000 come from? I don't hear about them. How are they surviving? What is actually happening? And I think the real number is probably closer to 2,000 that are operational and staffed and such. But it's still agencies out there that are struggling with the whole funding piece and such, and being able, as you say, to focus more on their work. So just given, and now either one of you can answer, just given that scenario or just that reality, how do you work with agency leadership, and they look for you, so they're asking for it, to change their mindset as relates to a world that they're used to living in? But I'm guessing you're picking agencies of those 1 and 2 per year that you see the opportunity to make real change happen.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll try to take that one. We will work with any organization in town. We'll at least try our best to help them, whether or not they've been selected by us to receive our funding. And it's sort of self-selecting. They've come to us because they know they need a little bit of support, and so they're kind of ready for that. For those organizations that receive our funding, we are choosing best-in-class organizations that are ready to move from good to great. At the same time, I think we should give the nonprofit leaders in our community a little bit more credit. I mean, it's not that they aren't businessmen and women. It's that they often don't have the time and the resources to spend that energy doing that kind of work when donors are requiring that they dump it all into their programs and, report on these outcomes more than spend the time and energy to develop a plan. So usually when we work with an organization, we work from the top down. We work with their executive director and then if at their invitation, their board of directors to help do kind of what both of you have alluded to, make sure that vision for the future and the strategy about how to get there is solid. And then we can get more into some of the tactics around how they might put in place different marketing plans, financial controls, HR policies and procedures, et cetera.
Excellent. Golly, I have so many questions, so little time. But looking at your program description, you reference the opportunity for caring and informed San Diegans to give in a strategic and highly skilled way. So really, this is not just helping agencies, it's also providing an opportunity for residents to invest in nonprofit organizations. I was just surprised to see that as your lead, because I don't see, maybe you do need to raise funds, but you also have a pool of professionals who have that, and you also have these skills. So,
well, there's no question that there is a two-way benefit from our organization, Jose. There's the benefit that we as members try to give to the nonprofit sector with our consulting and our money to make them stronger and better. But there is also a benefit back to those people who join us and who sit around the table at our meetings. They learn things about philanthropic strategies, about new organizations that they might not otherwise know. They have a chance to socialize and network with our other members. So there is a dual mission for Social Venture Partners, both to strengthen the nonprofit community and to help our members be more effective in that pursuit.
Excellent.
And thankfully, our organization, in this case, practices what we preach. I mentioned a minute ago multi-year commitments for unrestricted gifts, and that's exactly what Social Venture Partners does. We commit to an organization for a minimum of 2 years, and our gifts are always unrestricted. So we hope that combination will help them be more effective than any one of those two things by itself.
It's nice to see the model being put in place. And just I'm sitting here and feeling much better about my position. We're a small staff at the Council on Literacy, so it's not rare the situation that we're in, or a lot of even employers who are running for profits that it's a 1-man, 2-man, 3-man show, whatever, and there are things that just fall off. So just glad to know that there's the focus that you're giving to going beyond that, and realizing your potential as an organization and such. Now, what I've been wanting to ask before we go off air is, do you have a gathering of agencies where you put on trainings aside from, is that something you want to do, aside from the two that you pick? Because I would be there.
So we don't actually have sort of a gathering of every single agency in town. As you mentioned, there's close to 11,000 nonprofits.
Yeah.
That said, we do regularly.
Just me and a couple of other people.
Yeah, just you. You're welcome anytime, Jose. No, we do have different convenings of our members and then different nonprofits that we support. Coming up in September, we're going to be welcoming the new organizations that we've just chosen to fund, along with some of the ones that we currently work with, and that'll be, I think, an exciting event for our members and each other to learn, and the nonprofits themselves to learn from each other.
Very good. Okay, well, I'll be looking for that, and I know we just have a little bit of time because I think we could have spent a whole hour with you because there's a lot to talk about, just given the whole vision, incentive, resources, skills, plan piece of things, and just that if people do things a certain way, they can change. Any last words, real quickly?
Yeah, I just want to put out a call to your listeners. If there are listeners who are philanthropically inclined and have money and time to give to the nonprofit sector, they can certainly join us at Social Venture Partners and be part of our leveraged impact. And on the other side, if there are nonprofit leaders out there who have strategic questions that they or their board are struggling with, that they might benefit from a few extra brains around the table to talk through choices and strategies, we'd be happy to talk to them as well.
What's that website?
www.sdsvp.org, San Diego Social Venture Partners.org.
Thank you both for being on the show. Come back. We'd love to have you. Hope you've enjoyed your time with us. And you've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show and on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children.
After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
In the military, things can change in an instant. Your personal life is just the same. Just like you protect our country, you want your family protected. That's why thousands of military members trust Navy Mutual Life Insurance. Navy Mutual is nonprofit, providing current and former Navy, Marine, and Coast Guard families with life insurance, no sales fees, and no military service restrictions. Protecting members on active duty and beyond. Call 1-800-628-6011, 800-628-6011, NavyMutual.org, insuring those who serve.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
I've heard this is like one of the best pizza spots in town.
Yes, it is.
I'll do a slice of pepperoni, slice of vegetarian.
You got it.
And I will pay for all of that in 3 days.
In 3 days?
What's that mean? Well, wait, you accept credit cards. That money's not going to hit your account for 3 days anyway.
I need my money quicker.
At Chase, we hear you. With Express Funding, card payments are in your Chase account the next business day. Go to chase.com/expressfunding. Chase for business, so you can.
Compensated participation. All businesses are subject to credit approval. Not all clients are eligible for next business day funding, and additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. MOZEguitars.com, 619-698-1185.